Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our last coffee break update of 2020. I almost forgot the year on purpose, but appreciate everybody being here. We're going to give it another few seconds and then we'll go ahead and get started. Well, welcome everybody to our coffee break update. I'm Mark Creffield, President and CEO of the Victor Valley Chamber, CEO of the Hesperia Chamber. It's my pleasure to be back. I wasn't here 2 weeks ago, and it was my understanding it was a heck of a coffee break. First off, everybody was let into the room prematurely, so that was something that was a mystery to most. Apparently, there was a debate on how many Shannon Shannons there were. Apparently, there was 3 different Shannon Shannons. And lastly, I guess our MC shorted our sponsor a full minute of their talk time, which is kind of makes sense because this week we don't have any sponsors. So the word got out that, he shorted the sponsors, and now we're, we don't have a sponsor. So we had to add some filler to this week's coffee break. So, but anyways, it's my honor as always to introduce the MC for our coffee break update. It is Marshall Haprov, the communication specialist with the Mojave Desert AQMD and the chair of the board of the Hesperia Chamber. Good morning, Marshall. Welcome.
That is maybe the sweetest way to introduce me, I think, is to somehow pin on me the fact that we don't have sponsors this week. But I think that's not true, actually. Neil Harris is with us, as always, the executive pastor at Victor Valley Christian Church and a board member with the Hesperia Chamber of Commerce. Neil, I was speaking with your wife, Christy, yesterday, and she pointed out, eloquently, I might add, that COVID-19 and the year 2020 are in fact sponsors of the coffee break update. And I thought that was poignant, if nothing else.
Yeah, and they have been for the entire year. I think that's probably fair to add on. And I'd also like to say that Mark's introduction just proves one thing. He can't take any more time off. He has to be here every Friday. We have a coffee break, and I think he pretty much just sealed that.
Obviously.
Should we ask him to be here every Friday that we even don't have a coffee break? That's
probably good too. He should log on just to practice and make sure that we have this down.
Yeah, absolutely. And Neil, speaking of your wife, I also wanted to point out that Christy has a camera this week at her desk. She told me that she was bringing her iPad in. So those of you who are on the call, you can scroll through the participants and you can wave hi to Christy. She can see you. So good morning, Christy, and good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this coffee break update. This is, in fact, our final coffee break update of 2020. It's I think our final chamber, pretty much anything of the year. So we're absolutely thrilled that you are joining us for your Friday morning. We have a ton of stuff. Mark was right. We don't have sponsors this week. However, we have numerous things to get to this morning. Of course, our usual city updates, as well as a couple of other things we're throwing at you for extra information to get you ready so that you're overflowing with information as you continue through the rest of the year, this next couple of weeks. So if you have any questions throughout the morning, if you want to send them get them to the presenters, send them using the chat function directly to Neil Harris. And then as time allows, we will get those questions to the presenters and try to get answers for them for you. So we will start with the mayor of the City of Adelanto and our City of Adelanto update, Mayor Gabriel Reyes. Good morning, Mayor Reyes.
Good morning, everybody. How you guys all doing this amazing Friday? I saw a comment, we almost made it through 2020, and that is so true. We will make it through 2020. And I think 2020 most definitely gave us that clear vision, right? Everybody in the beginning of the year was 2020 vision. But I would say this, I think it most definitely did. I think it showed how strong the American people really are to get through the ups and downs, the craziness, the uncertainties. And we're going to most definitely blast off into 2021 and continue doing that here in the city of Adelanto. So just a couple of quick updates on our election season, because I did miss the last few for some personal reasons, but our elections have passed. We had our incumbent, George Jeanette, and our planning commissioner, Daniel Ramos, win the 2 seats. So that's great. We have in my opinion, the right people to continuously move the city forward, win those election seats. So I'm very, very excited about that. Unfortunately, our Measure R vacant land tax did not pass by 0.5%. We were so close. A little bit more work. That would have been amazing for it to pass, but we'll revisit it a little bit later to see if that's the way that we need to go. But in continuously positive news, we were able to pass a park and a water basin on the north side of town. So for those of you who know Adelanto or dare to venture past Air Base Road, the northeast section, which used to be the old housing area for George Air Force Base, unfortunately was built on the natural flow of the water plant here in the high desert. And knowing that the Mojave River flows north, this area was right on a bend of the water plant. And unfortunately, when we get our heavy rains, houses flood and the water goes all the way into sometimes their homes. And that's something that we experienced my very first year here. And I made a promise to the residents that we were going to find a solution to fix that issue. And we're happy to announce that we passed it's going to be a park year round, but during our raining season, it's going to be like a water basin where we're going to capture about 90 to 95% of this rainwater to eliminate the flooding that happens to our northeast part of town. So that's very exciting for the constituents and the residents because, we get to help them out with that. We're continuously doing road repairs and repavings and more work. We're repaving Astor Road, parts of Mojave, and repaving and doing some line work there to increase a good consistent flow of traffic. And housing. I believe we signed off on another 100 houses here in Adelanto to start construction. So that's very exciting. A lot of the older lots, I guess they're called, that were wanting to be built in 2008 and 2007 time before the real estate collapse. A lot of DR Horton and KB Homes and Kehoven and Frontier have bought those lots and are starting to build those houses. So that's exciting that we have that going on. One of our goals is within the next 5 years, crazy goal. We want to build 5,000 more homes. Why do we want to build 5,000 more homes? Well, we're a rural city, and us being a rural city, we're under 50,000 residents. So one of my goals is to get us past that 50,000 resident marker so we can get more assistance and help, not just from the county, but from the state and other resources and tax purposes, right? So I'm really excited. Thank you so much, you guys, for allowing Adelanto to be here and just keep the Victor Valley informed of what's going on. Love being a part of the Victor Valley team and growing our region. Everyone have a Merry Christmas, and I'll turn it over for any questions if there is any.
Thank you, Mayor Reyes. Well, let me say poignantly, thank you so much for joining us this week. And the information that you shared there is indicative of the kinds of things that we do with this coffee break update every 2 weeks. So I appreciate the opportunity to not only hear some news, but also learn a thing or two. So thank you so much for that. Neil, do we have any questions for Mayor Reyes?
We do not.
All right. Well, there you go, Mayor Reyes. Thank you so much for the update, and Merry Christmas right back to you, and we will see you in a few weeks.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to throw at you a different sort of update this week. Shannon Shannon from, of course, from the Hesperia Chamber of Commerce Board, as well as Saddle Rock Reverse Mortgage. She has an update for all of us on our activity with the Inland Empire Chamber Alliance. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody, and Merry Christmas. I was getting to the end of the year. I sent Neil a text and I said, if COVID is a member of the chamber, can we kick them out? Before 2021, I'd really like to see them go. Everybody raise your hand. So anyway, as we get into the Inland Empire Chamber of Alliance, I know we've mentioned this before. This is something that Mark and I started attending the meetings back in, I believe, in 2019. They actually came to us and said, hey, we're putting together a regional presence of chambers that will meet together and use everybody's expertise and the things that they're working on for their businesses, but also have that collective power as a larger group than just the individual chambers, because we all know more people working together have a lot more power. So anyway, it is the Inland Empire Chamber Alliance, and go ahead and go to the next slide, Mark. The IECA serves as a forum for members and organizations to learn about legislation that's being considered in California legislature and the United States Congress, or regulations being proposed by the state and federal agencies, and advocate with a unified voice. So that says an awful lot. Let me give you just some examples. We meet together once pre-COVID, we would meet together once a month. Okay, so all of these chambers would come together and talk about what's impacting, a small business, what's coming down from Sacramento and federally. And it is really, when we first joined it, I thought, well, how's this going to go? And once we got in there, small business and business is business everywhere. It's very like-minded, no matter where you go. We're trying to do what's best and, reach out to legislatures. But I can tell you that and we even have a platform and everything that I'll get to. If you want to write down if you're more curious about, what we've been doing, the website's down there at the bottom. And we kind of work under the umbrella of the Inland Empire Economic Partnership. But anyway, where we really started, we have a platform and everything, I'll get into that in a minute, but where we really started to see the power of this organization is when COVID broke out. So I think one of the things on that meeting that we immediately said was, okay, everybody's in disarray, but we got to pay attention that what's going to come down the river for small business, that small business and everybody else is so busy with COVID might not see coming. And so we moved those meetings up to, I believe there for a while, there was 20 chambers meeting weekly and just trying to see what was going on for business. You guys got lots and lots and lots of resources from Mark, PPP, just multiple things in all of the chambers. It was very nice to hear what everybody, was working on together and the resources they could share. The next slide, Mark. You can kind of take a look here, and again, the website's at the bottom of this. You can write that down, but you can see how many chambers have joined, and it's grown and grown. As I think there was only about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 maybe when we first started. And like I said, we met almost weekly. Then we were down to twice a month. When COVID started, we started getting into I don't know if it's a COVID groove or whatever, but we continued to look at legislation and talk about how it would impact, our business and small businesses. So next slide, Mark. We do have a policy platform. Again, it can be viewed on that website. And, that we got together with all of those chambers, and we actually sat down and did a kind of like a mini board retreat. And we came up with these were the items that we would be watching and, taking positions on policies as they came down. And, it's not like all of us agree every time we get together, but it has been a great partnership of, different chambers going, this does not, affect, or it does not apply, or we do not even agree and we'll abstain. And otherwise, when we take positions on things, we go to or write letters with all of the 20 chambers' names on it. We had planned last year to go to Sacramento and meet with different senators and assemblymen up there, but obviously that got canceled due to our very powerful member, Mr. COVID. So anyway, we went ahead and that'll probably be rescheduled next year sometime, but it will be more impactful, as you guys know, when we go up there as 20 chambers versus just one chamber. And so we found that very, very, very good. I'm going to go to the next slide, and you'll kind of see some of the positions. So we take positions on legislation proposed in Sacramento or Washington, D.C., and on regulations proposed by the state or federal agencies, and on initiatives appearing on the ballot. We get something almost every week that we have to do. And one of the things that I do appreciate on this is, it's those of you, especially in politics, this stuff's hard, you know, to look through all of it and figure out what is yes and what is a no, and is a yes a no, and is a no yes, or vice versa. And so having that resource really helps. I know we reach out to our local electeds a lot and say, well, what do you guys think? I see Shannon Dunkel on here and some others that we're always going, hey, what are you guys doing? What do you think about this? And Smitty, get ready. We'll be doing the same thing to you. So anyway, next slide, Mark. I know this is kind of tiny. You may or may not be able to see it, but again, you can go to the website and see the positions that we have taken throughout the year, and kind of see what this group has been working on. Again, it is you know, a piece of the puzzle, you know, trying to do what we can for small business, and not just high desert anymore. It's actually, you know, high desert, Inland Empire, the entire area. So it's been very nice. So let's see, do we have any questions, Neil?
Sorry, had to unmute. Yes, we have a question from Casey. Shannon, if the is the IE Chamber Alliance a part of the chamber group lobbying against some of the restrictions for restaurants?
Some of the stuff that we have done over the year indirectly would be yes. I don't know. Mark, have we seen anything come over this last week or two directly on that? I don't think we have, but I'm sure it will be coming across.
No, I don't think we haven't received anything specifically on that yet, Shannon.
Yeah. One thing nice is Luis Portillo, who is the head of he works for Inland Empire Chamber Alliance, of course, but somebody who's dedicated to watching that stuff all the time certainly makes it helpful for us to be on top of it, because you know, as every business owner in here knows, you know, we come to chamber stuff and then we go back to our businesses. And on the legislation stuff, if we don't stay on it, I mean, there are times where you have to drop what you're doing and research something, especially when they're in session, because there's going to be a vote in 2 hours, or, you know, send letters out or whatever. So it has been a nice learning, you know, event for me, especially to see that. Anything else? Let's see, we got one from Pat.
Yeah, we got that question from Pat. What resource does the Chamber Alliance employ to learn about proposed legislation before it gets to committees?
Okay, so that's Luis Portillo, especially. He is constantly in legislation and talking to lobbyists and the different stuff that's going on up there. So if there's something that we need to meet immediately on, that's like an emergency, he'll call a meeting, you know, and then we'll get to hear. And then each, you know, we've got a lot of changes to, you know, make our legislative committee more powerful too, you know, as we roll into the Greater High Desert Chamber. So stay tuned. Anybody that has an interest to roll up their sleeves and get to work, will be getting that figured out, you know, the first of next year too, is how that's going to look under Greater High Deserts. Okay, any other questions here, Neil?
Nope, I think you covered them.
Okay, all right. If you have any questions, you know, reach out to Mark or myself. We'd be glad to help you. This has been, like I said, during COVID, it has been an interesting thing to, as many of you have done, watch everybody work through all of this and hear regionally how everybody's been working, especially the chamber executives, to try and help their chambers. And, you know, I've got to give Mark a big hand for the time he has spent watching stuff and getting different resources out to everybody. And anyway, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Excellent. Thank you, Shannon. Great update. And, you know, Mark's going to have an update for us in a little bit on the Greater High Desert Chamber. But, you know, as you're talking about, you know, this unified action and the resources and learning about these things as they come through, it just, you know, it again speaks to the bigger picture that as we continue to come together, we have a louder voice. I mean, you know, we've been saying that and hearing it, and it continues to ring true. On that note, speaking of unifying and also on the Greater High Desert Chamber, I wanted to take a moment to welcome to the call today members of the Apple Valley Chamber of Commerce. Usually the invitation for coffee break update, at least for most of this year, typically goes out to Victor Valley Chamber and Hesperia Chamber members. But as we get so close to the official launch of the Greater High Desert Chamber of Commerce, which is just a couple of weeks away, we extended the invite, of course, to the Apple Valley Chamber members, and several of them are on the call with us today. In fact, this might be their first time joining us for a coffee break update. So I wanted to say welcome to you and thank you for joining us, and hope that this is all useful, or a lot of it is useful to you. The information, of course, we'll also toss a couple of cracks at Mark Creffield, which I'm sure many of you enjoy. In fact, I hear that some of you, that's one of your main purposes for coming on this call. Shannon, you kept asking Mark to advance the slide. And in fact, Neil is the one who's controlling the PowerPoint, which Mark texted both of us and said, Shannon thinks I'm in control. And I said, nobody thinks you're in control. So I just wanted to make sure that's clear. He even set it up for me. So,
well, and that's our job, right, Marshall? We do the hard work, make Mark look good, and then when something goes wrong, take the blame for it. That's right. What we're here for.
Right. Just like when Mark wasn't here 2 weeks ago, and all the people got let in accidentally before. Somehow that was in fact Mark's fault. I'm certain of it. So, all right. So we have another update for you this week. We have the City of Hesperia as always, but this week we are being joined by the Mayor Pro Tem, Brigit Bennington. She is going to fill us in on what's happening in Hesperia. Good morning, Brigit. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning to everyone. I just wanted to kind of go with Mayor Reyes that we only have 13 more days left of this very interesting 2020 and hoping for a better 2021. Also, the City Council approved on Tuesday night the CDBG funding, an opportunity to assist our businesses in the City of Hesperia. And I would encourage all the businesses to call our economic development and ask for April to get an application to complete, and then we can assist you for those businesses that have been affected by the COVID. Also, the Hesperia Animal Shelter Spark of Love Toy Drive continues through December 23rd. Adopt a new best friend for $15 when you donate a new unwrapped toy, video game, or sports equipment valued at $10 or more. Please contact the animal shelter for additional information. Our city offices will be closed December 24th through January 1st for the holidays. Normal business hours will resume on January 4th, 2021. We also will be continuing with our Christmas tree recycling, which begins December 26th through January 22nd. Trees can be placed curbside on the regular pickup date for collection. There is also going to be an electronic waste recycling event January 2nd and 3rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. behind Eagle Plaza. The recycling event is free to all county residents. Further details are available on the city's website. And lastly, on behalf of the City of Hesperia and the City Council, I want to wish everybody a very happy, healthy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem Bennington. We appreciate it. Neil, do we have any questions for City of Hesperia?
We do not. City officials are doing a great job with their information today. Nobody has any questions yet.
Excellent.
Thank you. I thought I was on video. I still cannot get the Zoom thing.
Well, we can see you.
Okay, great. I can't wait to be part of a real meeting. Thank you, everybody.
That goes for the rest of us. Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Neil, way to tee it up for Sue and Doug later. I can see both of them on my screen, and the pressure's on, guys.
We're just setting the bar high today.
Yes, we are. But before we get away from Hesperia, we have another kind of special update for you. We have joining us from the David Evans and Associates, we have Robert Kilpatrick, and he is going to update us on the I Avenue corridor study. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning. Thank you for for letting me spend a few minutes. Again, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Rob Kilpatrick with David Evans and Associates. We just recently moved our office to Apple Valley. Very pleased to do that. We're a full service civil engineering and surveying firm, but we are under contract with the City of Hesperia in cooperation with KOA, a Southern California-based traffic engineering firm, to do the I-Avenue corridor study. It's a study that City of Hesperia received a sustainability grant from Caltrans to basically do a comprehensive study of needed improvements to the I-Avenue corridor from Bear Valley Road to Ranchero. One of the emphasis on why the City of Hesperia acquired that grant was due to the potential development of the Tapestry development at the south end of the corridor, and with Victor Valley College being at the north. The purpose of the study is to really look at traffic improvements to really enhance connectivity to the area, and traffic improvements for complete streets elements, which means providing travel modes for vehicles, pedestrians, bicyclists, and transit users. Again, what we're doing is the study is looking at interim and even some permanent, widening projects. It's been broken up into 6 segments. Here real quickly, we've had a few public meetings in the last few months. Unfortunately, with COVID, the participation has not been what we were hoping for. So I'm here to announce that the draft report will be completed here in mid-January, and will be presented to the Planning Commission and City Councils at the City of Hesperia at their Planning Commission at their January 14th meeting, and City Council at their January 19th meeting. We're requesting anybody with any interest, and again, we're looking for any input we can from stakeholders such as yourselves in the City of Hesperia, and anybody interested in improvements in I-Avenue to provide comments on the study and or listen in on the virtual Planning Commission and City Council meetings that can provide any input that we can use to complete the study. We're looking at finalizing the study at the end of February. So again, I just wanted to implore anyone who has any interest to participate. You can get on the City of Hesperia's website. There's a separate web portal for this project where you can also provide input. So again, I want to thank the Chamber for allowing me to make this brief presentation.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rob. We appreciate the update. I live just a couple of miles from I-Avenue and the corridor, so the information is absolutely relevant to me and my family, as well as I know there are several on the call today who live or work in that area. So that is information like that is always of use. We'll put the City of Hesperia's web address in the chat box for anyone who might need it. Of course, you can always just Google City of Hesperia, but yeah, it is there on their website as well to get that information. So thank you, Rob. Neil, did we have any questions for Rob or the I-Avenue corridor study?
We did not.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you again, Rob. And once more, thank you again to Mayor Pro Tem Bennington for the update on the City of Hesperia. Now we will get to our City of Victorville report and introduce our friend Sue Jones. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, and thank you so much for this opportunity to provide an update from the City of Victorville. I'm going to start with what I think is probably the most important message that I can share as a public employee. Right now, we are facing probably one of the greatest challenges we have faced. I know we're all tired of hearing about COVID, but the situation is extremely dire. If you're paying attention, our local hospitals are taxed. At the last chamber update, I said that our ICU capacity is at 0 for the high desert. Now it's at 0 for the entire Southern California region. The positivity rate in our community is coming back at 20%. And I'm sharing this with you so you're informed and you could take necessary precautions to protect yourself, your family members, and stay safe. What we're facing right now is a surge attributable exactly to Thanksgiving, and we're going into the holiday season. And if the trends continue, it may be that some of those resources we need to serve us may be unavailable to do that. to be quite frank. We're right now strapped when we're trying to respond to 911 calls. And no matter who you are, we want to see you well. We want to see you be healthy, and we want to be able to serve you. So please take those necessary precautions. I know it really is not popular to say these things going into holidays, but I feel it's most important for me to at least share that with you, and you can make the most informed decision for the protection of yourself and your family. If you find yourself in assistance, if you need assistance related to business economic assistance, if you're looking for where to get tested, if you have community members that you need to direct to food banks, mental health counseling, anything like that, we have set up a section on our website where all of that can be found in one place. And you can find that at victorvilleca.gov/coronavirus. And we have given CDBG funds to different charities that can help with utility and rental assistance. So I invite you to direct anyone that you know in the community in need of help to that page, and go ahead and take advantage of those wealth of resources. On some business news, just this past Tuesday, our city council approved a design management contract for a new infrastructure improvement that will take place on Bear Valley Road. What we plan to do is expand Bear Valley Road where we cross the BNSF Railroad, and we're going to add a dual turn lane onto Ridgecrest to try to alleviate some of that congestion that builds up in that area. And that's exciting. The other thing I wanted to mention is we definitely have some new businesses coming to town. On Tuesday, our city council approves an agreement. Well, I guess it's a zoning change to allow for CarMax to come into our auto park area. So welcome CarMax. They're going to be located on Civic Drive, where there's a vacant lot next to Panda Express. And we're really excited to have them come in and invest in our city. And you'll also notice some new development happening. Western Dental is under construction, and they're going to be located on 7th Street right next to Harbor Freight. And this is a great reuse of existing space in our city. And we're excited to see the new skilled nursing facility. It's a 170-bed skilled nursing facility come to Victorville, and it's under construction at Winona and 11th Avenue. We're getting ready to prepare our State of the City for the Chamber, and that's scheduled for February 3rd. And we're real excited to share with the community a lot of the developments that happened in 2020, despite COVID. And I also wanted to share with you our holiday closure schedule. We will officially close our City Hall starting December 24th. And then we'll reopen for normal hours on January 4th. And with that, I wanted to make sure that I say to everyone, we wish you peace, joy, and good health in the coming new year, as this may be the last time I'll get to see you all. So I hope you do enjoy the upcoming holiday season. And I'm going to turn it back to you, Marshall.
Thank you so much, Sue. That is fantastic news about the turn lanes at Ridgecrest. I go that way almost every evening heading towards my house in Hesperia, and that left turn lane going on to Ridgecrest is crazy. Sometimes it starts before the intersection at Industrial. It's crazy. So that is great news. We do have, I think, a few questions, Neil, don't we? First,
yes, we have multiple questions. So
oh boy.
Get ready, Sue. This is gonna come lightning round. So first one, can you speak to if the council is anticipating taking a position of support or opposition to the county's lawsuit against Governor Newsom regarding his use of executive powers to close businesses?
That has not been anything that's discussed that I know of. I can tell you, we do have a new council, of course, but if things continue, the City of Victorville's position here is to provide assistance and information to our community. We have not chosen to make this a political issue. We view ourselves as, I guess, supporters of our community, and we provide the information that we have from trusted medical and health entities. That is yet to come because we do have a new council, but as of now, that has not been discussed.
Thank you for that. Another question, the Chick-fil-A project, is it still moving forward? Is there an update on what's going on there?
Absolutely, it's still moving forward. We've been in communication with Chick-fil-A on a regular basis. As far as I know, the last update I have is that we issued permits for the demo. As you know, they're going to be located in the location of the former Marie Callender's restaurant. And we did extend those permits to them so that they can begin to demo. The last thing I know is they were going through a bidding process to select the contracting firm that would actually raise the building and then construct the new restaurant. So it is moving forward.
I would love to get in on taking that building down. I should have said that before. Bummer. Another question as far as construction goes. Do you happen to have information on what is being built in the area south of Walmart on Amargosa?
I'm like looking into
Yeah, I'm not sure what that. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is in regards to. I haven't been over there recently.
You know, I'm so sorry. We have so many construction projects going on. It's hard for me to keep track of them all. So it's Amargosa south of Walmart.
Yeah, just south of Walmart. I've seen it a couple of times too. It's it looks pretty big, pretty wide, at least from the vantage point I had the other day. Actually going into the Walmart parking lot, I could see it off to the south.
Is that the 24-hour fitness and I can't remember what the other? I know there was a development there, but I don't remember what it was. Why don't
we, Sue? Maybe can we ask you to bring that, look into that? Maybe bring it back for our next coffee break update.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then last one before, unless somebody asks a question while I'm asking this one. Is there an update on the Yuckaloma Bridge extension project?
Well, we are definitely moving forward with that project. As I've reported before, there is an initial step that has to happen. There's a sewer line main that is located in the exact path of the new roadway. So that had to be relocated and rebuilt up before we could actually begin construction of the new roadway. The last update I have is that we are absolutely going to build that new roadway in 2021. I don't have the exact start date, but as soon as I know that, I will certainly share it with this group. But please be assured it is moving forward. It is one of our major infrastructure priorities. We're excited to have it move forward for our community.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate all of that information.
Well, there were a lot of questions. No.
There were a lot of questions. There's you never can tell. But it's, of course, we have more people this week than I think almost we've ever had on a coffee break update. So, hey, we're engaging more. So, but we'll look forward to hearing more from you at our next coffee break update. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, Sue. Thank you so much. All right, we have our 00 CEO, Mark Creffield. He's here with us as always, of course, and he is going to bring to you a fancy update on the Greater High Desert Chamber of Commerce. Please, Mark, make it fancy, because I just said it was fancy. That word came out and I didn't even mean to say it, but now you really have to make it fancy.
Great, because I was just going to say, I was going to keep it short since our time is getting away from us. But hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to have this quick update. One of the things we talked about, the Greater High Desert Chamber Board of Directors met a week ago, Tuesday, December 8th. And one of the things that came out of that was we wanted to make sure that we were sharing information with our members. Next slide, Mark. Did you see what I did there? That was kind of a joke. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Thanks, Mark, for laughing and humor.
Good.
Just real briefly, wanted to talk about, for those of you that may have not seen this before, but the benefits of the creation of the Greater High Desert Chamber of Commerce. Those of you that are multi-chamber members will now pay only one membership, unless of course you have multiple locations. But for those of you that are a single location that are a member of 3 chambers, your membership will now, you only pay one membership. We're looking at combining resources, services, programs, and events. One of the biggest things that I want to say about that, because this question comes up a lot, is looking at taking the best of each chamber and continuing on with that. The one that comes up all the time, and I'm just going to say it here, yes, we're doing coffee break update virtually, but when we can go back in person, Friday morning coffee will come back in Hesperia. So just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that we are going to make changes, but some of those events that have made each individual chambers significant, we're going to continue with those. It's the best of everything rolled into the Greater High Desert. Unified Legislative Voice. Shannon Shannon covered a lot of that with our work with the Inland Empire Chamber Alliance. Of course, we will still do local government affairs legislative meetings where we invite our legislative representatives to come and present. So those hopefully will reconvene in January, even if we're still virtual. Well, we'll be virtual, but we'll definitely start reconvening those. Expanding networking for leads, referrals. Again, even if you're a single member of, say, the Adelanto Chamber, now being part of the Greater High Desert will expand your exposure, and especially with the invitations that you'll get to attend the various events that the Greater High Desert will have. So it's a great opportunity for that for you as well. And the real important one that has been asked a lot as well, the Apple Valley Chamber office, the Hesperia Chamber office, and the office here in Victorville will continue to be open. So it's nice that the Greater High Desert will have multi-offices to serve all of our members. We've said it before, we don't want a brand new business to open up in Apple Valley and they're told, well, you have to go all the way to Hesperia, to fill out the paperwork or to join. Or just for general questions as well as people visit our great cities and town. Next slide, please. I wanted to show who will be representative on the Greater High Desert Chamber Board of Directors. Initially, 4 directors from each chamber that's merging: Adelanto, Apple Valley, Hesperia, and Victor Valley. 4 representatives are going up to the Greater High Desert Board. I'm sure that by looking at this list, you'll see a lot of familiar names. I do want to mention, and they're both on the call, but Sharon Page was elected to be our very first chair of the board for the Greater High Desert. Her term will go from January 1st through June 30th, so it'll be a 6-month term. And then our Marshall Haprov, our MC this morning, is going to be he's the chair-elect, so he will take over as the chair of the board beginning on July 1st, 2021, and he'll have a full year term that'll go until June 30th of 2022. I wanted to mention we do have some advisors who will be non-voting members of our board. Mark Austin, who did a lot of tremendous work getting us to where we're at today with all of his research over the past many years. He's going to stay on. Janice Moore, the CEO of the Apple Valley Chamber, who will be retiring, will also be a non-voting advisor. And then David Greiner, who's been acting as the attorney for the Greater High Desert, he will also be an advisor. And then the staff remains the same, but we get to add Sonia Miranda, who's the office manager with the Adelanto Chamber of Commerce, and she's on the call today. So that's the staff as well. Next slide, please. Post-merger, again, we've kind of talked about this before. What's really important too is the remaining directors that did not make it to the Greater High Desert Board will still be active in this process. We may convert them and call them business councils, but the Apple Valley, Hesperia, Victor Valley, Adelanto will still have representatives that will meet for informational items. There'll be a lot of subcommittee work that we're working out through the Greater High Desert Board, events, legislation, communications, transition, just to name a few, and we'll be calling upon those directors to assist with the Greater High Desert as we transition and as we evolve into what we expect this to be. Again, planning events around the pandemic, again, we would love nothing more than to be able to meet in person, everybody. But unfortunately, until we get the green light that it is safe to do so, that's when we'll be meeting. And I can promise you, as soon as they say you can meet in person, and I use Friday morning coffee as the example, that very next Friday, we will be meeting in person. There's a lot of details that are still being worked out. And there'll be moments too where we might have to pivot a little bit. As we realize what we had hoped to do, we might have to pivot to something else. But please, give us that time, folks. We feel like the first 6 months of next year, the next calendar year, is really going to be us getting us to where we want to be. So please, if you have questions in advance, please call me personally, email me, or any of the directors and ask those questions, because we would love to answer them if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And then the last slide is we're very excited. Our very first Greater High Desert Chamber of Commerce event of 2021 will be the Valley Morning Insight, which will be Wednesday, January 6th. I'm hoping some of you have seen the movie Invincible that starred Mark Wahlberg. I'd love to say that Mark Wahlberg is presenting, but unfortunately he's not. But the person he played, Vince Papale, who, as many of you may have known, was a 30-year-old rookie who tried out for the Philadelphia Eagles back in the 70s, and he made the team. And this was without any college experience. He's an inspirational speaker now. And, we felt like in these tough times, why not lead off 2021 with some inspiration? I know we are all looking for inspiration on a daily basis. But we're really excited that he'll be on our call and will be providing that inspirational message to us all as we kick off 2021. So the first invite will be going out today in our Friday e-blast, and then we will send out the invite again next week, and then the following week, and then the first week in January. So we look forward to hopefully seeing all of you on that call. And again, we're really excited. So, but if you haven't seen the movie, see the movie or read up on this guy. His name's right there. It's a very inspirational story. And, I'm a movie guy, so I love going to the movies. And this movie came out in 2006. And I don't know if Marshall was born yet. I'll have to fact check that. But anyways, but it's really inspirational. And, I think that you'll really look forward to hearing his message if you do some research about him and see the movie if you have a chance. But anyway, that's my update. And definitely, if there's any questions, I'd love to answer some. And then I'm going to have to jump off the call. So anything from me, Neil?
You're good, buddy.
All right.
I'm pretty sure Invincible is on Disney Plus. I'm checking right now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I was born in 1984. So there you go.
Got it. Thank you. Noted.
Right.
Thanks, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy holidays from the Greater High Desert Chamber of Commerce. And we'll see you all real soon. Take care.
Merry Christmas, Mark. Thank you. Thank you for that update. A lot of good information going on about the Greater High Desert Chamber of Commerce and the shifts to that, the official launch of it. There was discussion on the dais at the Hesperia City Council meeting just a few nights ago about this very subject about the focus or potentially the loss of focus on the individual communities throughout the high desert as the individual chambers, quote, go away, unquote, which is what some view it as, the focus on individual communities and what makes each community unique. And I know I've said this before, that focus is not going away. That's not disappearing. In fact, what we hope is that focus gets greater with our combined resources and our ability to pool together and to see the qualities that make the high desert unique and each city and each community unique. So that focus is not going away. It is absolutely staying 100% at near the top of the list. Of course, members and people who are participating and the communities that we are representing. Those are the core of the Greater High Desert Chamber of Commerce. So that is not going away. So I just want to point that out. So thank you again, Mark. And we have one more update for you this morning before we wrap up. Of course, as always, we have the town of Apple Valley and our friend town manager, Doug Robertson, who happens to be wearing a red hoodie and it says Apple Valley, which I mistakenly thought he got at Walmart, which he did not get at Walmart. Walmart has Victorville hoodies in the Victorville Walmart. So I was confused, but I'm not confused because I see Doug now.
Yes, thank you, Marshall. Actually, you can get these at Town Hall. They are $20. So unfortunately, our Town Hall is closed right now, but if you call us, we'll figure out a way. I don't know if we'll take your money and throw it out the door or what, but if you want one, they are available. Just give a call to Town Hall. So those of you that know me, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So I woke up early to watch the season finale of The Mandalorian. And don't worry, no spoilers for me, but a tip without spoiling, watch to the end of the credits at the very, very end. And that's all I'll say about that. So Some Apple Valley updates. There was a hearing very recently about our water case, and the judge is looking most likely at February, we believe, for hearing final arguments. He threw out some dates in late January, early and mid-February, and then even March, where I think we're going to shoot for a February date for those final arguments to be heard. Once that's done, that triggers his 90 days per, I guess, state law to issue a tentative ruling. So based on that timing, we're looking at probably May, June timeframe for a tentative ruling. Following that is another hearing where each side will argue either for or against his tentative ruling. And then ultimately he will make a final decision. I don't know how much time he has to do that exactly, but I'm hoping there's a clock on it, because when there's not a clock on it, sometimes judges can take a little while. So if you've been following along with kind of the ups and downs a little bit of the Brightline train to Vegas, they did have a delay recently due to liquidity issues, surrounding both COVID and I think the election. Ultimately they withdrew their bond offering they were attempting. They are looking at restarting that offering in early to mid-2021. They recently started brand new social media accounts under the name Brightline West. Their search Brightline West on Facebook. I also dropped it in the chat just before I started speaking. But search Brightline West on Facebook or I suspect Instagram and probably Twitter as well, if you want to be the first to hear about the progress that they are making. So it's focused only on the train here, not the one in Florida. So unfortunately, our town buildings are closed to the public at least through December, and very likely through January as well, is my guess at this point. We are still working. We're here working, or some of us are working from home. We're just handling everything electronically. The public, some of the public, seems to think that when we close our buildings down, or when we close our doors, that somehow we all get vacation. So it's not how it works. We are still here working, and in fact, I tend to work more hours when I'm working from home because I just don't stop. So let's see here. Thank you, Sue. Oh, one other thing. We are traditionally closed between Christmas and New Year's every year. So we will be actually closed during that time as well. We will reopen electronically January 4th. So jumping back to my other comment here. Thank you, Sue, for your comments about COVID. I echo everything you said. You can agree or disagree with the handling of the pandemic by the state or federal government. That's fine. But the reality is that it is here in our valley without question. St. Mary Medical Center is making national news for being absolutely inundated with cases. We lost Gus Alfaro and Tom Carpino just a few weeks ago. The village of Apple Valley will never be the same because of it. These two longtime restaurant owners, they've been a significant part of our community for decades. It's unfortunate that they're no longer here. Very unfortunate that Tom will never get to see his restaurant in Hesperia open up. So it is real. Please do your part. Whatever you think that is, do it. So in good news, the first Dutch Brothers Coffee in Southern California is open. You may have driven past and noticed that there are lines, lots of lines. From what I hear, they're averaging about 45 minutes to get your coffee at Dutch Bros. Sometimes, I read that Orlando, when he tried to go there with his family, they were there for 2 hours waiting in line before they finally got through and got their coffee. So they have a cult following of sorts, much like Cracker Barrel, Chick-fil-A, and others. And so this being the first one, they are super popular right now with people traveling hours just to get here and then waiting apparently for hours in line to get some of the coffee. They have, I think, 1 million or more different options for drinks. So if you're going to go, I would recommend you look it up online and try to figure it out, before you get there, because the options are endless. So, but just a tip, keep it on the down low. Word is they're looking for another site already in our region. So coming in 2021, we finally got approval. It's been a little bit rough between us and the federal government, but we finally got approval for some local Apple Valley COVID business relief grants. Mayor Pro Tem Bennington talked about some grants that are available for businesses that are in Hesperia. Ours are available only to Apple Valley businesses. We're finalizing those details, but we will announce them formally in early 2021. So that's all that I have. Happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Neil may or may not have questions for you. I did want to point out, though, that Neil was ready to mute you, Doug, should you have started to go through these spoilers. Also, I don't know if Orlando and his family got their coffee or not. I think they might still be in line.
Yeah, I saw him yesterday, so I think he did. But yeah, something about
might have just parked the car and just
they kind of got caught and couldn't get it. So, he's good economic development director for us. So he stuck it out and got his coffee.
Good to know.
The only question we have is if Doug can confirm the rumors that if we mention that we know Doug, we can skip the line at Dutch Brothers and get served immediately. Oh, hold on.
You can mention my name. They would not know who I am, and I have not waited in that line. I like coffee. I have had Dutch Brothers coffee, but that was the result of a fantasy football bet that we have from internal staff, and someone lost and ultimately had to buy Dutch Bros coffee. So he waited in line for 45 minutes. So.
It tells you something about the line at Dutch Brothers if that's what you have to do for losing a bet. So that's something.
Doug, before we let you go, the Apple Valley relief that you mentioned, is that a grant or a loan?
It's a grant. These will be grants. We are looking at potentially some loan programs, maybe some forgivable loan programs, but we also want to have a couple different ones to meet the different needs, the differing needs of small businesses, including, we'd like one to have a bonus or you can get a second grant for economic development purposes. If you grow or bring additional business rather than simple survival. So, but obviously the simple survival is a big part of it. We're also looking at grants for commercial rent relief as well. We just got to get all the details finalized, and hopefully we'll be able to announce that at the very first coffee break update in January.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for that, Doug. That's great. Speaking of our next coffee break update, which would be our first of 2021, that's going to be on January 15th. So it'll give all of us a chance to settle into the new year. And if you want to put that on your calendar, January 15th, we will continue as we have been for the last several months until there is some kind of light and opening and we can all gather together in person. And so that means that, of course, and we've said it a couple times now already, that this is our last coffee break update of 2020. It also happens to be my last chamber anything as the chair of the Hesperia Chamber of Commerce Board. So I asked Mark if I could speak for a few minutes, and of course we've been with you almost exactly an hour now, so I won't take too long on this. I want to encourage anyone who's listening to look around you for inspiration. I am in this position, and I was fortunate to be named Hesperian of the Year earlier this week, and I've been just incredibly fortunate. I even said it on my social media post. I've been incredibly fortunate to be where I am. My dad is also on the call, so Dad, thank you for moving our family to the high desert in 1990. I am just always, I'm blown away at the talent and the kinds of people that fill this high desert. That Hesperia, Victorville, Apple Valley, Adelanto, all of the surrounding communities. The people who are here is why I wear that t-shirt. I love the high desert. It's the people, it's also the sunsets. But it's the people, and there are people who have surrounded me the last few years since I started at the Mojave Desert AQMD, and even since I became chair of the Hesperia Chamber back in June. And you know, when I got to do my speech on Monday, I was able to thank a few people, but sometimes it just seems like there's never enough time to thank everybody I want to thank. So I look around and just try to remember and pray for and think of the people who have inspired me. People like Casey Armstrong and John and Devin Thompson and Sabrina and Mike Schneider and Chris and Nicole Nunez and Shannon Dunkel. And of course I mentioned Neil and Christy Harris. So many people who have impacted me and who make me proud to be here, proud to be, for the last 6 months, the chair of Hesperia Chamber of Commerce. And I'm fortunate enough to be the chair-elect for the Greater High Desert Chamber. I know these next several months are going to be great under Sharon Page's leadership, of course, with Mark Creffield at the helm as CEO. I look forward to seeing everybody on January 15th for our next coffee break update. Thank you so much for every one of you who inspires me or inspires somebody else for the work that you do in this community. It does not go unnoticed. I absolutely assure you of that. So thank you so much. I want to kill the PowerPoint, and I'm going to say we're going to let everybody unmute themselves. Give me a second here to do this. Wait, how do I do that? I forget how to do that. How do I let everybody unmute themselves? I forget. This is terrible. I'm trying to find it. Zoom changes things all the time and I can't, there you go. Now you can do it.
It worked, Marshall.
You know, Marshall, just live that
What
dream.
happens when a double O CEO isn't around?
Yes, that is true.
Merry
Clint.
Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Woohoo.
Crystal Women's Club.
We'll see you next year.
See you next
In 2021.
Be safe, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
You guys are great.
Congratulations, Marshall and Neil, on your awards. That's so awesome for you guys to be honored.
Hey, thanks,
High
Smitty.
Desert.
Thank you, Mr. Assemblyman.
Thanks for
Appreciate
what
it.
you're doing up in Sacramento.
All right. I start my job on January 4th, so we'll try to Zoom it from up there, folks.
We'll be watching. Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see y'all. Thank you.
Have a great Christmas.